So I'm turning 24 very soon, and I moved to Hawaii when I was 18. So I've spent the last 6 years here, and there have been a lot of ups and downs, and I'd be lying if I said I'm in the position I wanted to be in 6 years ago. But you know, that's life. You go through trials and tribulations. Can't always have what you want, but I think if I were to put into words what I've learned 6 years here so far, some of the most formative years of my life, right? Being a young boy, teenager at 18 to becoming or being a young adult. Um, well, first of all, I really shit on myself a lot, but surprisingly enough, I really want to say that to myself. I'm trying to give, which is rare that this happens, but I want to give myself a pat on the back that I'm still here, still fighting. I've gone through many points where I really wanted to give up, but mama didn't raise no quitter. And so, no matter how many times I've gone through a point where I cry and I want to just slave there and do nothing with my life, 10 times out of 10, I will come out of that cave and go on an adventure, whether it leads and wherever it may lead. I always get myself out of rock bottom, so I want to give myself a pat on the back for never giving up and taking it one day at a time. And I think that's a skill that I've learned and mastered over the years. I've seen myself worry less and less about the future. And to be honest, I don't know if this lack of worry comes from an attitude of fuck it, or if the lack of worry comes from a perspective of what use is me worrying if I can spend the time I have now, the present, controlling what I would have been worried about or could be worried about, or controlling the future, simply said. Because at the end of the day, what I reap, what I sow, and I better sow something good. So, there's that. And I've also learned that, well, I've I've always believed in this thing. And this thing is a concept that I've lived with myself, that I've been telling myself, or I've lived with. It's something that I contended with continually ever since moving here, which is purpose. I always try to figure I've been trying to figure that out. And when I was writing a script for a video idea I had, somewhere in there I wrote, you can spend so much time asking yourself what your purpose is. Some people die without ever answering that question. I feel like it's an endless pit for you to continually question that. I think a more efficient way of going about it is eliminating the things that would help you find that answer. In other words, getting rid of bad habits. I believe that it would be fair to say that Your purpose, you waking up and being on your phone for 2 hours doom scrolling, will not help you reach said purpose. And etc., etc., bad habits, whatever that may be, you ask yourself that question, you know the answer, it doesn't help. And so that's something that I've been trying to do and I still struggle with. But at least I know the problems and that I'm working on them. Another thing that I realized was that purpose, I know that the greatest purpose, in my opinion, is to put your best foot forward despite knowing that the world is unfair and evil. Which is my way of interpreting pretty much. I think essentially the statement I just said was carry your cross. And I don't think there's a greater purpose than that, than to carry your cross and be Christ-like. And I'm not even a crazy religious person, right? I'm a sinner, I sin every day. I'm not the perfect Christian. But there's no other, I don't think there's a better way of interpreting how, I don't think there's a better and simpler and more profound way than to put it that way, than to carry your cross and be Christ-like. Literally do what Christ did and emulating Christ. As many attempts as I take to try and twist and turn around that statement and make it seem more relatable to an audience that is not very Christian, that could not be very Christian, I don't think there's a better way to put it. If you live a life that where you spread love and kindness despite knowing how evil it can get, you put your best foot forward, which is literally, that's what I'm stating right now, is literally being Christ-like. I don't think you wouldn't I don't think you would end up in a place that you wouldn't desire. Whether you take that idea and put it in any vehicle you want, your destination will always be a good one. What I mean by that is, if you take that idea and you put it into what you find you are passionate about the most, you're gonna get in the big leagues, my friend, like whether you become a chef, storyteller, creator, whatever, janitor, there's no greater purpose than that. And that comforts me, when I start dwindling down that path of like, why am I here? Why are we still here? Just to suffer. And honestly, I am humbled. And I'm glad that I'm alive. Because the chances of me not even getting to experience life and being born is a number that is magnitudes higher than my brain can comprehend. So we're the lucky ones, and gotta make the most of it. So if when I turn 26 in 5 days, I'll try and watch this, or 24 in 5 days. My birthday is on the 26th, sorry. But when I turn 24, and any other birthday I have, maybe I can keep going back to this video. And I hope you continue living your life, trying to constantly learn and be the best that you can be. Go get him, Tiger.